Hello everyone. Today we're going to be creating an item filter project. For example, if I click on Python, it returns the corresponding data. If I click on O, it returns everything that we have in our data. If I click TypeScript, it only returns anything that has to do with TypeScript. But this data is just dummy data, so you can put whatever you like. Tips, it gives us tips. Python, oh, it gives us everything. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so I have a folder called styles. There's a variable file. There's nothing, it's just colors that we're going to use in this project. And also I have an app.css. I just did some basic page resetting. I'm pretty sure you know this already. And also I give a color and a background color as well. So this is the color for the font and also font family. Okay, also I have a component called OData with all the data that we're going to use. Firstly, I've imported the images that we're going to use up here, and then inside our data we have an array of objects. So each object is like a different card, so you can add as much objects as you want based on whatever needs you have. So for now I'm going to use only four items. So on each item there is an ID, an image, title, category, description. It goes on like this. So if you want to add more items, you can just add more items and then put a comma and just give it an ID 5. Okay, so you can add as many items as you want. So okay, I'm not going to save the item that I've added. Now let's create a new folder and call it components. Yep, I'm going to create 2 components inside this folder. The first one is menu.js. The second one is going to be buttons, so buttons.js. Okay. I'm just using a plugin to do this. It's much quicker to create a function. I'm pretty sure you know this already, so I'm just here to show you the functionality of creating the filtering system. Okay, inside our app.js, it's empty. I'm going to create a title here. So title. And h1. Inside the h1, I'm going to give it a span. I want to give it a different color. So this is going to be like a blue color, and this one like a white color. Okay. I want to import the data that we're going to use. What am I doing? Import. I'm going to call it items from all data. I'm going to create 2 state values. The first one is going to be menu item, set menu item. Okay, and then use state. So at the beginning, I want to have these items, and also I'm going to create another one. This one is going to be called button, and then set button. Actually buttons. Set buttons. It's going to be an empty array just for now. We're going to update this later. Okay, so we want to pass these item data as a prop inside this menu component. So now I'm going to render this menu component here. Menu. Let's import menu first. Import menu from components menu. Also, I want to import the buttons. But oh, it's button actually. Button. Okay, I want to render the button here as well. Okay. Button. Okay, now I want to pass the data as a prop. Menu item. So this menu item is this data here from all data. I'm going to pass it as a prop so I'll be able to access it inside the menu component. So menu item, I'm going to map the menu item so we can display all data that we have inside it. So item, okay, I'm going to return a div. I'm going to call it item container. Yeah, like this. Also, we need to give it a key since it's a list. So if I go to all data, it's a list of items. So the key is going to be this ID. Okay, so key is going to be item.id. And here I'm going to create another div with item. Yeah, I'm going to call it I can't think of any good name to give it. Item container. This one, let's give this a different name. I'll just give this a shortcut. This item container. Actually, yeah, okay. Now I'm going to put an image. Item.image, which is this image here. Also an h2. And title, item.title. And the description, paragraph. Item dot description. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, we have all the data, but we don't have the description yet. I think there's a misspelling here. Description. I'll just copy and paste it. Save. Okay, now we do have the description. I'm going to give this div a class name of item. Okay. can't think of any good class name to give this one. This should be a container, but I don't know what to name this one. I'll just leave it like this, so you can name it whatever you want. But for now, I'm just going to name it like this. Okay. Yeah, we have got the data. Now let's do the styling. I'm going to select item. I'm gonna go to styles. I'll start with the markup, with the text actually, the text. So h2, font size, 3 RAM, no, 2 RAM, font weight, let's see, 200. What else? Let's see. Yep. Then a paragraph tag, color, #FFF, and reduce the opacity a little bit. Okay. h2. If we have the h2, where is the variables? Want it to be this blue color. Color transition dot 3 seconds, is in, is out. In the case of pointer, okay, I also want to get the title. So this is the title. And the padding of, no, not the padding. Yeah, padding actually. Of 5 RAM and 0 RAM. Text align to center. I also want to get the app, the whole app component, and give it a padding of 0 and 20 RAM. Okay, yeah, like this. Okay. H1. Font size of 3 RAM. And the span, we want to give it that blue color. Yeah, like this. So we want to display these items in a grid. So like this, in a grid. So menu, so it's item. We want to display the item in a grid. So it's dot item display grid So we want to have 2 columns in our grid. So grid template column, repeat 2. We want to have two columns, so 1 FR, so they'll be in equal size, 1 FR1. Also, I want to give it a grid gap. Grid gap of 3 RAM. Okay. Also, I want to get the item con. Width to 100%. Oops. I also want to get this item container. Item container, selecting the image in the width of 100%. Okay, so it's in a grid now. Item con. We're going to give this a padding of top and bottom 1.5 RAM and 1.5 RAM left and right. Also want to give it a background color, this one, I think. Oops, just closed it. Okay, let's see. Yep, like this. Yep. So for this #2 here, I'm going to give it a margin of top and bottom. So for the top and bottom, it's going to be 1 RAM, left and right 0. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, this looks fine. I'm going to reduce the opacity of the paragraph. It's too light. Okay, yeah, this looks better now. Okay. Actually, this padding is too big. 1.3. No, 1.2 is fine. 1.2. I want to select the image as well. Image and then hover. Transform. Translate. Not translate. Scale. I don't know what I'm thinking. So scale 1.1. Okay. I want to copy this transition. In here. Cursor pointer. Okay, let's see what we have now. Okay, yeah, it's working as intended, but it's overflowing. It's overflowing the parent. So overflow. No. Here, overflow hidden. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be here somewhere. Hold on, let me see. Items container. Item container. Okay, now it's working as expected. I think that's it for our styles for now. Now let's do the filtering. I am going to create a new function, call it filter. It's going to take a parameter which we're going to call button. Create a new variable, const filter data, which is supposed to. Now we want to filter the data. We want to get the category. We want to get the category of the data. So we have tips, Python, tips. So we're going to do items dot filter. Okay, so this callback function, we're going to call it item. And then item dot category. We're going to set it to the button. So whatever category that we have is going to show in button. So whatever we pass in here. So for example, if this parameter is equals to tips, it's going to display all the tips inside this category. I don't know if I did the correct explanation, but sorry, my English is not that good. Okay, now I'm going to set menu item. This should be a capital I actually. Set menu item to this new filter data. So whatever we have filtered, it's going to be in menu items now. So I want to pass this function as a prop to the button, so we can access it inside the button component. Filter okay, something's wrong. Set menu items not defined. Set it's menu. Set menu item. Okay. Yep. So now inside the button, we're going to get this function filter. So So let's create a button. This one is going to give us tips. Okay. One click. So if we click this button, we're going to call the filter function. So the filter function is going to return whatever parameter that we have, which is this button here. Whatever we pass in is going to return the data corresponding to the whatever we pass in inside this parameter. So if we go to the data, I'm going to pass in tips. So that's the category that we have, tips. So if I pass in tips here, so hopefully if I click this button, it's going to, oh, I forgot to do something, the callback function. Okay, so now hopefully if I click this button, it's going to return, it's going to filter the data and return all the tips, only the tips, nothing else. Okay, so if I click tips, see, it's giving us only tips function, tips component, not components, cards. I don't know, I'm getting confused. Tips cards. Okay. So that this was just temporary. Now let's delete this. It was just temporary. Okay. So now what we want to do is to create another variable, const all categories, which is going to be a new array of all categories that we have. So we want to have a category for all. It's going to like give us all the data that we have in our array. So a new category, this category is going to be all. And also I want to get the categories that we already have inside here. So I'm going to copy all the categories here with a spread operator. I'm going to copy the items dot map. So inside here we're going to return an item. So it's going to be item dot category. So inside here, so we want to return the category of each one. We're copying, we're not modifying the data, we're just copying this these categories here using the spread operator. So if I console log this, log all categories, so if I refresh, so see, now it's displaying all the categories that we have. So as you can see, the data is repeating Python, 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 tips, tips, all. For example, if I add another element here and call it all again, it's going to repeat the data. We don't want the data to repeat like this. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So now all categories, now remove this empty array and set it to all categories. So if I go to, oh, now we need to export this buttons as a prop. Button is supposed to, oops, what did I name it? Is it buttons, right? Yeah, buttons. So I'm going to export the buttons as a prop, so I'm just going to call it button. Okay, now let's go to the button. Let's get button. Okay, Yep. Now we want to display all the buttons that we have, which is the categories that we have. So it's buttons.map to display all the categories that we have. So here I'm going to get a category and the index of each category. Okay, and I'm going to return a button. Oh, return a button. What's going on? Return a button. So the title of the button is going to be whatever category title it is. So it's cat type is equals to button on click. So if we click the button, we're going to call the filter function. We need to do a callback function first. We're going to call the filter function. So instead of passing in whatever categories you have manually. Whoa, what did I click? So instead of passing in the data manually like this, now we have all the categories in this cat variable. So cat, and also, yeah, I think that's it. Now save. Okay, so see, it's displaying all the buttons with all the categories that we have. If I click Python, it's going to display files only that corresponds to Python. If I click tips, it's going to display only tips. If I click all, it's supposed to display everything, but it's not. I forgot to do something. Hold on. Oh, okay, yeah, inside here we need to put all. So if if button is equals to all, then set menu item to items again to everything, back to the beginning, and then we want to return this. Okay, let's see, let's save. Okay, Python, yep, Python, tips, yep, all, yep. So see, it's working. So now we don't want this data to repeat like this. So to remove this repeating data, we're going to use a data structure called set. So instead of doing this, remove this, new set. So a set is going to give us a unique values. So if we have repeating data, it's going to give us unique values. So set, and then items dot map item dot category. Okay, so now if I save, it's going to eliminate all repeating data. So let's refresh. See, now the data is not repeating anymore, except this all is not inside the set. That's why we have two all. So if I remove this, everything inside the set is not repeating. So we have unique values now. See, tips, all, tips, Python. So now we're filtering as intended. So now we need to style the buttons. So now let's do this. So actually I need to show you something before we do the styling. So if I add another card here and give it an ID of 6 ID, And then I'm going to give this a different category. I'm going to say this, let's say TypeScript. Refresh. It's going to add a new category, TypeScript. So whatever category that we have is going to keep adding new buttons according to whatever categories that we have. See, if I go to TypeScript, it's returning this category, Python, tips. So it's working as intended. So if you want to stop watching from here, you can now, but I'm going to do the styles for the buttons similar to this. Okay, let's go to app. Actually, I want to give this a padding of 5 RAM. Yeah, I think 5 RAM will do. Actually, I'll keep it on 0. I'll give this a padding. RAM, let's see. Okay, yep. So as for the buttons, class name, buttons, let's give this a class name of btn. This goes to btn. Alright, buttons, width of 70%, margin of 0 auto. Actually, top and bottom, I'm going to give you some margin to RAM. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. Text align center. Okay. I'll leave it on 70. Pixels, no, 1 RAM, 2 RAM, background color, what is it? Is this light one? Okay, I'll copy it from here. Let's see. Okay. btn not last child margin right for RAM. Okay. Font family inherit. So I'm going to give it a default font size inside the body to 1.2 RAM. Okay, let's see. Yep. And the color, a white color. Let's see what it looks like in Figma. This 0.5 RAM. Yeah, something like this. Okay. btn have a background color, CSS pointer, what color do you want? Let's do this one. Transition. Oh, 0.4 seconds. Actually, I'm going to put an effect here. It's called cubic bezier. Okay. So I want it to start slow and then goes like fast. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Okay. Copy. And then paste here. Save. Let's see what it looks like. Like that. Yep. Okay, now we need to remove this outline. btn active outline none. I'm pretty sure it's the outline or the border. Ah, no. I'm not sure this is. I think it's a border. None. PTN active. PTN. Focus, I think. Yep. Now it's gone. It was focus. Okay, now we want to add the active class. Actually, this video is long enough for me to add the active class, so I wanted to do this. So when you click, the link stays active. If you click another button, it activates another button as well, like that. But the video is long enough, there's no time to do all that. So yeah, I think I'll see you on the next one. It's working as intended. Yeah, I'll see you on the next one.